What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Hot Button Sports Show. I'm your host, Isaac Lane. And today we are going to dedicate this video to the great Chris Paul. Hats off to Chris Paul. Congratulations. He punches his ticket to his first ever NBA Finals appearance. I believe in, what is this? Been 17, 18 year storied career. They defeat the Clippers 130 to 103, as I'm almost 100% sure you already knew. But what does this mean for Chris Paul, his legacy, and does this change the way the Hot Button judges Chris Paul as it relates to the point guard discussion? Let's get into it. First of all, I am happy that Chris Paul has finally got an opportunity to punch his tickets for the big dance. For the most part, it's been just him and Carmelo Anthony on the outside looking in when it comes to championship talk, championship play. So I am very glad that he has an opportunity. So now, where does this place him in the Hot Button's top 5 point guard, dead or alive? Top 5 point guard of all time. First of all, I think he's without a doubt one of the greatest point guards ever. I think he is for sure our generation's poster child for what it means to be a point guard. I believe Steph Curry is a better point guard because he can do more things, and he's got the hardware to back it up. He's got the MVPs to back it up. But Chris Paul is definitely worth now mentioning in the top 5 discussion. And in my opinion, now you can respectfully start talking about point guard because he made it. I want to even say, me personally, I want to say, just because of my own bias, I want to say you got to win a chip because that's just how I'm wired. The reason why I say you got to win a chip is because when you look at most people's top 5s, Oscar Robertson, Isaiah Thomas, Allen Iverson, Jason Kidd, Steph Curry, all those guys have rings except for Allen Iverson. All those guys have chips. All those guys won it. But we let AI in. He didn't win it. He showed up. So I have no problem with Chris Paul being a part of your top 5. Personally, he's not in my top 5 yet. If he somehow wins the championship this year, which he can, he will be in my top 5. Right now, he's floating around 6 or 7. But Chris Paul, hats off to Chris Paul. He deserves it. I believe that when it's all said and done, he's going to have the best team standing. And there has been, I ran across a meme or a Facebook post that was talking about how Chris Paul has actually benefited from all of the injuries this year. And, I call bull crap on it, man. Every year there's some kind of injury, whether if it takes place in the regular season or the postseason, that kind of changes the trajectory of the season. You still have to pull it off, right? You still have to show up on the court on a nightly basis in the playoffs and do your job, and that's what Chris Paul has done. But let me dispel that notion that there should be an asterisk beside his finals appearance and potentially his finals ring because of injuries. Well, first of all, he was injured in the first series against the Lakers. Yes, the Lakers were banged up, no AD, nowhere near 100% healthy LeBron James. But if my memory serves me correct, I believe either in Game 1 or Game 2, Chris Paul suffered a shoulder injury that I believe had him sidelined for a full game. And he wasn't himself the entire series. But his leadership both on and off the court enabled that squad to dispatch of the Lakers in 6. So he was hurt that series, so miss me with that. The Nuggets was without Jamal Murray, people say, and yes, that's true. But the Nuggets had several games, several weeks to find an identity, to learn how to try to play ball without Jamal Murray before they played the Phoenix Suns. And the Nuggets also had the MVP, the current reigning MVP in Jokic. So to me, that's null and void. I believe the only argument for injuries anyone would have for, as it relates to Chris Paul and his path to the finals, would be the Clippers. The Clippers and Kawhi going down, and the Phoenix Suns having to play a Kawhi-less Clippers, which in my point of view made it an even series. Kawhi Leonard puts the Clippers over the top. Kawhi Leonard makes the Clippers Nets-ish, Lakers-ish. Kawhi Leonard turns the Clippers team, which without him is a good team, but with him are a championship contender. So, with Kawhi, I believe Clippers win in 5 or 6. Without Kawhi, I believe you have a pretty even series, and I believe the best team won. The team who had the best, the team who could remain mentally stable, who could put it together between the ears, who could keep their composure, who could keep their poise, won it. I said going into this NBA season that I didn't believe in the Nets because I don't believe they had composure. I didn't believe they had leadership. Don't believe in the Clippers either because I don't believe they have on the court, on the floor leadership. The Phoenix Suns have on the court leadership and poise in Chris Paul. While we're talking about the Clippers and their poise, shout out to Patrick Beverley for acting like a true jerk, a true butthole, man. I don't know about y'all, but Patrick Beverley's getting on my last nerves. You can't talk all this noise, and you should. If you're gonna talk this much, there got to be some superstar basketball play behind what you're talking, man. Yeah, you're a pest on defense. You can do certain things, man, but you're a role player. Stay in a role player's place, man. That should have never happened with him pushing Chris Paul, but that is indicative of this Clippers organization. It came out last year, lack of accountability. They don't treat their players, their stars, the same. They put certain stars on a pedestal. There's no mental toughness, very little poise, and Kawhi with the prima donna antics. This is not me. This is what players were saying. So to me, that the way that the Clippers went out in blowout fashion in an elimination game, and with Patrick Beverley, on the court, as far as the defensive face of the franchise, Patrick Beverley doing that to Chris Paul, it was just indicative for who we have, or who I have been saying the Clippers are the entire time this fraud superstar team was put together. But hats off to Chris Paul. You get the hot buttons, top 5 respect. I'm rooting for the Suns. No matter who the Suns play, no matter who they play, I'm rooting for the Suns. I hope the Suns pull it out. Y'all let me know in the comments how y'all feel about that Patrick Beverley hit. Where does this rank Chris Paul? And now, if Chris Paul can win this and mess around and win Finals MVP, then yeah, man, then you have not a word out of me as it relates to Chris Paul being a point guard. But hats off to him. He's finally willed his team into the last dance.